I never knew that this was where it would, like, all the dots would connect and it would eventually take me. I started in the nonprofit sector. So I worked in a nonprofit for, I think, 2 years. Then after that, I worked in the Senate. I did legislative work and program work for 3 years. And then after that, I did social enterprise for another 2 years. So all in all, I think I spent about 6 to 7 years in the development sector. And then that's when I decided, okay, I want to try what it's like to start my own business and then see if I can build a career from teaching. I really was determined to be in the development sector until I found out what a social enterprise was and that you could build a business and do good at the same time. So the Purposeful Creative is an online school and a learning community. And the way it started was, I've always been teaching workshops for fun. Like, I would always have a day job, but because I was writing on my blog, people would ask me to teach certain things. So on weekends, I would organize workshops. I discovered that there was a way to do it online, to teach online. And that's how I started researching, okay, how can I create an online platform where all my classes would be? Now we do get so much more students from provinces like Puerto Princesa or Cagayan de Oro or Batanes. When everyone thinks of starting your own business, following your passion and turning it into your full-time career, you think like it's such a liberating thing to do. You know, you decide on your own hours, you can work from home, you can do all these things. But I think not a lot of people talk about the other side of it, which is you give up having a very linear path in your career. So no promotions, there's very little tangible milestones where you can say that you're progressing in your career. There are no raises, there are no 13th month bonuses. Like, it's really up to you to feel that you're progressing. And sometimes you feel like you're not, like you're in the same place. And then you have to challenge yourself, okay, how do I want to grow next year? But basically, it takes a lot of, it takes a different personality to be okay with a very non-linear career. So I'm sure for those of you who have freelance jobs or who have more flexible jobs, you experience that and you're like, where am I going? What am I doing? Because there is no linear progression. Honestly, that's something that I'm still working on. I don't think I'm good at celebrating milestones. I'm always looking at, okay, what do I want to do next? But in terms of milestones, I've come to realize that it's really less about, I guess, chasing after the numbers, but more about if what you do is in line with your values. I think at the end of the day, that's what feels good to me. But when it's more about your values and you're like, okay, this student was able to do this or this student was able to do that, then I feel like you carry that with you for a longer time. I feel like everything I do is an avenue for me to learn. So I'm always reading, I'm always watching, even just the conversations that I have with different people, that's always an avenue for me to learn. So it doesn't have to be a formal classroom for you to learn, but even just meeting someone and you ask them about what they do and then they explain about it and then you find parallels with your work, or even just you cross-reference things and you get ideas with how you can grow. I'm always attending classes as much as possible, whether that's online or when I travel. Whenever I travel, even if it's just for leisure, I try to find workshops in the city so that I can expand my knowledge and also learn from someone with a very different perspective from me. So that's always in my itinerary. But I do have a lot of mentors throughout my career. I've been so fortunate, and for some reason, I seem to attract really generous, compassionate, very driven women leaders who are so supportive. And even if it's not like a formal mentorship, I just learn so much from them, and they give me so much advice, so much support. They give me bigger platforms for me to be heard. I'll always go back to learning from Reese Fernandez, who is the co-founder of Rags to Riches. Before I worked with with her, before I worked in a social enterprise, I always thought that business was about earning the most money that you can. Like, to me, the way I learned about business growing up was you buy something for cheap, try to have the highest markup that you can, and then sell it for a higher price so that you have more profit. But when I was able to learn more about what Rags to Riches was about and what they were doing, the more that I realized that business really is about giving value to others and helping others. It's just that you're exchanging value, and that value for the customer means money. And to me, how that really changed my perception of business was that now it became more about helping others. And also the way that she built her business and led her team was that compassion at the end of the day, like that was the core of everything. Like, you could have the best numbers, best sales for the month, but if you're not compassionate towards your team, towards the community that you're helping, towards your customers, then what is it for? I wrote the book for many reasons, but one of the most prominent ones was because I really wanted to help people find what it is that they really want to do in life, which is everybody. But I wanted to give them a structure to follow so that at the core of that whole journey is purpose. Because you can go about your goals in so many different ways. But to me, to have purpose at the heart of it, it's such a vague topic. Like, people always talk about finding your why or starting with your why, but nobody really breaks it down into what it is. When people talk about finding your purpose, it's always like this in the future thing wherein, all the dots will align, it will all make sense someday, but nobody talks about what that looks like in real life. So I wanted to write something that will help sort of peel back the curtains and show people what that's like. And I've had 5 years of experience in teaching. I've had 15,000 students who have shared their stories with me. So I felt like I had the data and the examples to share. Easy to follow and actionable, just beyond the feel-good, inspiration, you can do it kind of book. It's really hard to quantify if I'm successful because teaching, it's a long game. You're playing a long game. It's not something that you teach this class and then you see the results immediately. People take time to simmer in the lessons and then to apply it in their own lives, and then it takes a year, 2 years. Some people will take 3 months. You just you sow the seeds and then see what grows from it. But I think the biggest thing that I always watch out for and that I always make sure that we're designing for when we teach our classes is that we really want to connect students with each other, not just to me. I never just want to be an influencer wherein people just want to hear what I have to say or what I'm doing or want to get inspired by me. But I want people to form like a community around the classes that we have and connect with each other, not just to me. I feel like everyone has a role to play and everyone can find purpose in what they do.